Welcome to the Whiskey Chronicles, where Justin and his father cover topics from outdoor sports to whiskey. They will be joined from time to time with all kinds of guests, so we hope you enjoy. Here are your hosts, Justin and Kevin.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Whiskey Chronicles podcast, brought to you by Team Whiskey. We're here with some special guests, and Kevin, you want to go ahead and introduce them?
Yeah, today we have Dan and Cammi Knapp, Newlyweds. Let's toast to that.
Cheers.
Drink to that.
Thank you.
So, when did you guys get married?
May 6th.
May 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newlyweds.
Newlyweds. Awesome.
Yep. Join the club.
Yeah. Okay. So, we met Dan and Cammi at our shoot in Homewood. They came there and hung out with us. I think you guys hung out with Lindsay too in the parking lot there.
Oh yeah, I
Homewood,
think we broke a couple rules. I mean, we came in our van and we was like, "Hey, let's just park and stay here." I don't think anybody will say anything.
Well, I think Lindsay really enjoyed it because he camps in the parking lot
Yeah,
himself.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
well, unfortunately, he's not going to be there because I guess
Oh really? Dang.
his wife, he has to stay there. They can't really do the Tahoe thing because of the price of everything. So,
Right.
but he's bailing out of there. So we get a new guy to work with this year. But Dan, he was a collegiate athlete along with Cammi. She was a collegiate athlete, and Dan also got drafted in the NFL. And what year was that you got drafted in the NFL?
That was in 2011.
2011. And who'd you get drafted by?
The Oakland Raiders.
The
So I got
Oakland
I
Raiders.
wasn't drafted. I was picked up as a priority free agent to the Oakland Raiders, and yeah, it was an awesome experience. Came from Arizona State, played college football, tight end, Arizona State, and got moved to offensive tackle my senior year, and we can get into that transformation as we go on. But yeah, I ended up playing offensive tackle in the NFL for 2 years in the NFL, and then 2 years in the Canadian Football League.
Okay, so you said you were a tight end, and then you moved to offensive tackle.
Yeah.
So what did that require you physically to be able to do?
Well, it required calories and lots of them. And it wasn't by choice. Unfortunately, we had a coaching change, a different offense, and either transfer or put on some weight and play tackle. And back then, rules are different now. Kids are entering this transfer portal, and they can go anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
Back then, it was penalized. Like if you wanted to go somewhere, you lost your eligibility, you had to sit. So I decided to stay. At that point, I was a junior, I had all my friends, this, that. And so I put on, so I was about 260, 265.
And how tall are you?
6'5".
6'5".
6'5", 265, playing tight end. And then we moved to tackle. The first day that happened, we went to Hooters, and it was a Wednesday. And Wednesdays they have all-you-can-eat wings. Okay, that's why. Okay? Yeah, the all-you-can-eat wings. That was the only reason.
That's it.
So we went in, and I think I ate close to 100 chicken wings without even batting an eye. And then
disgusting.
I was proud of myself.
Sponsored by Charmin or something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool thing about college, right? I'm 20 years old and cast iron stomach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I could eat nails back then.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and then so that year as a senior, I went from 265 to about 280, and that's what I played. That was my playing weight in college. But my transition in the NFL, that wasn't. We were just talking about this, but especially these days, they won't even look at you. You're not even in the conversation unless you're 6'4", 6'5", 300, 305 plus. As an offensive lineman, they won't even. So I had to up the calories from there, and that end of that season, I went from 275 to 310 in 2 months. That was the time.
In 2
months. That was the
All you can eat chicken wings will do it to you, huh?
Well, so it was more than that.
Every night.
Yeah, I was eating, and this is no joke, guys. I have video proof. I can, so dinner would consist of 2 entire rotisserie chickens. Not like one, like both, everything. 2 breasts.
I can't buy those for dinner for him anymore.
I won't even look at rotisserie chickens anymore. I will not even look at them. And that was just 2 rotisserie chickens, a huge bowl of pasta and salad. And that was just dinner. I remember I would like come to my buddy's house with bags of groceries, and I'd put on the table, and his girl would come up. Oh, Dan, it's so awesome, man. Thanks for bringing us dinner, man. I love you. And my buddy Joe, he's like, don't touch that. That's all his.
So how many calories do you think you're consuming a day?
At least 10 to 12,000. At least 10. Wow. I mean, I got to the point where I just got, dishes involved, time, and I didn't have it. I didn't want to do dishes either, so I would just put food in blenders, and it would be chicken parmesan. I didn't care. I'd put it in a blender, throw some water in there, plug my nose, and just down it.
And this
just
is so
to get
funny.
the calories.
Just to get the calories.
This is so funny because at the gym, he coaches these athletes from, young bucks to high school, college, and that is his way, his staple, saying just put your food in a blender.
I love it because, to me, it's how bad you want it. If you're not going to put chicken parmesan in a blender and drink it, you don't fucking want it that bad.
Yeah, but eating's supposed to be enjoyable.
I know I'm a little off the rocker on that one, but
then you guys were just over in Europe, so eating over there is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Well, luckily over there I didn't have to maintain weight or anything. So in the NFL too, they put this in the contract. Like if you're up plus or minus a pound, if you're down or up, it's a $500 fine per pound. So, they make it...
Even up?
Even up. They give you a range. They give you a range.
Like a plus or minus?
Plus or minus. Yeah. Yep, and if you're up or down...
What was your range?
My range was just above 310.
So you had to stay above 310.
Yeah, and it was hard. I didn't have the frame to hold and maintain that weight. I'm naturally 250, and I was, you only find that out being put in that position, and I gained all that weight. I did it, but then everything else started falling apart. My ankles started hurting, my knees started hurting.
Oh, I could imagine.
I got all these stretch marks on my chest and my stomach, and I would see it in real time. I'd just look at my arm and watch the stretch mark just stretch. I'm like, what in the, but you put on 25-ish pounds in 2 months, and that was my life. It was my life. So Monday through Sunday, it's 2 workouts a day, 4 or 5 meals a day. Every single day.
So were you just lifting? You didn't do any kind of cardio?
I did cardio, so I did field work. No cardio.
No cardio.
I lifted heavy, and then I did field work, stuff that translates to a football field, footwork, blocking drills.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So it was a little bit of cardio, but not in the sense.
Yeah, you weren't sprinting to keep that weight on.
No, I was lifting, benching heavy, squat heavy, power cleans, all the stuff, eating like lift, eat, and just rinse, repeat. And I did that for 2.5 months, and it worked. And that's how I got my opportunity in the NFL. So I only had 1 year playing offensive lineman. So, that's technically your resume, trying to enter the NFL. So if you don't have that much film, you got to show up on pro day or the combine and prove to everybody you're an athlete. And that was my I guess claim to fame. I think that year I was, as offensive tackle, I placed first in almost every single measurable category there is. So bench press 225 43 times that year. The record's 49. So I was this close getting the record there. 4.840 at 310 pounds. They had the broad jump, L drill, like all these other kind of stuff that they do at the combine, and I did very well, and that's what got me the opportunity to play in the NFL. Considering I was a tight end, only 1 year playing offensive line, and so that's
and what team drafted you off the bat?
So Oakland picked me up as a priority free agent, and then I was there for about 6-7 months, and in all honesty, it was not a horrible experience, but it wasn't great. My first experience in the NFL wasn't ideal.
Who's your coach?
It was Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen, okay.
That was his first year.
Yeah.
He was defensive coordinator from Denver that got the head coaching job. And it was just a weird going from, college football, coming from Arizona State, where you're playing with the same 100 guys for 4 years, and living with them, having those memories, experiences, sharing the blood, sweat, and tears,
Right.
You're more so playing for the guy next to you than yourself in college, in my experience, and then you go to the pros, and it kind of just rips all that out. Like it's just until you get your time in, but at that point it becomes a job. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. They got their own families or whatever, college, it was just a tight knit. Everybody's hanging. Everybody's,
Fun. It's a team.
It's fun. It's a
Yeah.
team. Yeah.
Passionate.
And there's that in the NFL, but there's only that. You only see that on the good teams, like the teams that win football games. That's where that's happening.
Yeah.
I guarantee, and I see it. I've been seeing it, and it's just.
It's always that way with team. We just did a podcast last week, and we were talking about how, men on a team, how that camaraderie, and it really kind of all started thousands of years ago with hunting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Because
exactly.
you had to work together and to provide for everybody. And
Absolutely.
And once you share that with somebody, right, the blood, the sweat, and the tears, it brings you to a level that you cannot reach unless you do that in regards to a relationship.
And it
You can be
really kind
friends.
of like you kind of overcome deficiencies in talent and athletic ability when you play together as a team. I've played
Yeah,
soccer my whole life. Actually, this is my 50th year of outdoor soccer.
Awesome.
And it's my best teams that I played on were just 14 guys that were
Yeah,
like,
just
hey,
guys.
what do you want me to do today?
yeah,
And, and that's really what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And I played with some amazing talent, but it didn't always equate to a good team.
no.
That's right.
And
And it's proven time and time again. A coach is a good analogy. I mean, you got your fist, right? You can have one guy or a bunch of individuals, but you put them together, right? And you
Yeah.
got a fist hit way harder than an open hand
Yeah.
slap, right? That's the,
So we're at the Raiders. Did you play that season? Did you get playing time out on the field?
No, I got released right before the season started. There were some injuries, and that's another thing about the NFL. Like, there's zero job security. You don't know
Yeah.
what's happening when. You're just a bag of meat with a number on it, and that's how I felt with
A
the
310-pound bag of meat.
big bag of meat. So that was. I mean, that's the nature of the beast, honestly, and that's the part that sucked about it. But I got released, and then went back to Arizona. Then quickly got picked up by Cincinnati.
Go Bengals.
Go Bengals! Yeah, who day? And that was a completely different experience. That was, that was more of a
And who was the
team
coach?
environment. That was Ray. I mean,
Was it Marvin Lewis?
Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Ray Lewis. No, Marvin Lewis, and he was awesome coach, players coach.
Yeah.
So it gave it more of a
Yeah,
kind of
more
team
of a-
feel,
more
like
of a vibe.
that camaraderie that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. And it's also the players that make the teams too. It's what they bring to the table. If they bring it, like when I was there, Andy Dalton and Whitworth, they would have the team over. They would have functions. They'd have barbecues where they're like, hey, guys, throwing a bunch of whatever on the grill. Whoever's welcome, come on over. And
Yeah, it
just
gives you
have
kind of that family
Yeah,
feeling
exactly.
and get to know each other a little better and
So that happened
share stories.
consistently, with everybody, and that was, kind of the thing to do. This player's going to host these guys. That player's going to host these guys. Holidays, everybody gave each other gifts. One year, this is good. One year for Christmas, one of the kickers got everybody shake weights. Like those infomercial shake weights.
Yeah.
Every single person from the team, and then made the strength coach promise them that one day they'll get an entire workout with nothing but a shake weight.
So we're originally from Cincinnati,
Yeah.
and spent the first 36 years of my life there. And Bengals fans are, they're
Diehards.
they're
Bengals
diehard.
fans,
They're
man.
Bengals fans. They're Bengals fans for life, right?
Yeah.
While you were there, did you get to eat Skyline chili?
I did eat Skyline chili. And they also have really good wings at that place too.
Yeah.
And did you get to go to any of the bakeries? Did you go to Grader's or
I don't
Servati
think
Bakery?
so. I don't think nothing that I can really remember. I did eat plenty of food, trust me.
So we always make the Skyline. So we get the seasoning packets,
Yeah.
and we always make it with venison.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
the move.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you add the little bit of tomato paste with the seasoning and cook it all down with the
Okay.
venison.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah.
big chili guys out
yeah,
there.
but it's not like normal chili.
No,
It's different. It's completely
It
different,
is different.
and the flavor in it. It kind of brings out. There's a lot of Mid-Eastern culture there in Cincinnati. So the flavors in there, the cumin, and there's chocolate in there.
Yep,
There's all-
chocolate.
man.
There's chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's one of the ingredients that gives it this taste. They put some chocolate in there.
That makes it
cinnamon.
Authentic, yeah.
Yeah.
What was a place? It's on the river with all the team memorabilia in there, and they have
Montgomery Inn.
Montgomery Inn.
Yeah,
so
all the
we
rib
would-
sauce.
Yes, we would go there quite often as well.
Yeah, the ribs. It's a unique sauce. And,
Yeah.
and then did you get to eat
place
La
itself
Rosa's
is
pizza?
unique. Might probably. I'm sure I did.
It's
I didn't eat-
it's unique too because it's kind of a sweet sauce on the pizza. It's a really usually we go back there. We hit up all the spots. And,
All the local Cincinnati spots. We hit up Skyline, La Rosa's, Graders.
Yeah, so we hit up all the local spots, and
Okay.
and then when we were leaving last time we were back there, we were leaving on the plane. There's no White Castles out here, right?
I know. No.
So Justin's getting on
That's
the
so
plane
funny
with
you
a
say that.
30-pack, right? He's like, I'm taking a
One of those
30-pack.
crave crates.
Yeah.
I'm taking him home.
So I freaking hammered White Castle because, right, they have nothing out here, and I saw one. It was like almost like holy shit, it's a White Castle.
You got to
It's a freaking
go.
White Castle, yeah. And you just get a box of freaking burgers, man.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're little
Like,
mini
How
burgers.
many could you
Nuggets
eat?
or something?
I don't want to answer that question.
They're little mini
Let's
burgers.
just
They're
go by
probably like
height.
3
I can
bites.
Probably this high of boxes.
So it's funny when Justin brought that 30-pack. We're getting on the plane. Of course, there's one
30-pack.
dog getting on the
Oh,
plane.
no.
Sits
we're
right
laughing.
next to
We're
me.
laughing, saying, "Just think if sure enough, who was sitting right next to Justin the whole time."
Just sniffing.
He's like under my feet because I had it underneath the seat. He's like trying to get under my
What's
feet.
up with
the
that
whole
box
time.
over there, dude? What are you gonna do with that?
So Cammi, you played college sports as well, right? And
Yes,
you
sir.
played basketball and volleyball.
Yeah. Backing up a little bit, I just had a sincere passion for athletics, but it came from I broke my back when I was 15, and it was a freak accident, T7, and I was
Did
going
they
up.
fuse them?
Yep. And then I was paralyzed for 47 minutes, care flighted out. I remember looking down on the care flight of the outside field, and there's all the football players doing their double days because it was during volleyball practice. And, being told no, that you're never going to play again, let alone walk again, and just staring at my mom's eyes and being like, well, this is all a lie. I'm never going to believe it. And that was really what got me cooking inside deeply, because the doctor did say, he goes, if you had more muscle around your spine, that would have saved you. And I was like a 97-pound little girl, and fell to the floor, got back up, and that's when everything broke. So
And that was during volleyball practice.
volleyball practice, and really what it was a freak accident. I was just standing underneath the basketball hoop, and a girl used a volleyball to do a layup before practice started. So her elbow came down perfectly on my spine and just dropped me.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Ouch.
And I was just that girl that I ate and breathed and lived for sports. And back in my younger day, like we were chatting about, it was, my dad, for my birthday, October 6th, we were hunting, and there wasn't ifs, ands, or buts about it, and so the work ethic was there. I had it. So thank God for that upbringing that I had to get through that. Got me through high school, and then I got to play dual sport in college. And
basketball, what position?
yep, I was a guard in college. I was a forward in high school, and then I played outside in volleyball. And then my last year I played middle. So, and I was the only athlete at the university that got to play 2 sports and in scholarship.
And all
And all
after
of them,
a
yeah.
major injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then when they told you that stuff, like you're not going to be able to walk and play sports, was that just like coal into the furnace?
Totally.
Like, okay, well, you
Yeah.
don't know me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know me. Yeah. And I remember I do
Okay, watch this.
see. Yeah.
Hey, y'all, watch this. That used to be my favorite saying back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, my mom would always say less talking and more showing,
Yeah.
and so I just looked at her and I'm like, kind of a little mantra, I can, I will. That's when that was adopted. And then it, followed me through the profession that I'm in, but most definitely. And then, there was a lot of, when you're wearing a back brace and you're learning to walk again and not really having the mobility that you once did, because I mean, looking back, I probably should have honored more of who I was and what I did and how I did it, but I was an athlete. And so to learn everything was very humbling.
Oh yeah.
But then that's when I was dating my high school sweetheart at the time, and he was training as a baseball player to go big, and he's like, you got to just train with this guy. He's going to heal you. He's going to help you. And sure enough, I did. And by that was the greatest gift that he had ever given me, was to have a coach, not just in our, our sporting event, but to have a coach on the outside, to help us cross train. And then now I've learned as an adult, a coach to help our mental health is great therapy, to be our
connected.
better self. Yeah. And so of course it took me 40 years to realize that, but
yeah, I had a knee injury in 2004 when I was 40, and they almost had to cut my right leg off above the knee. And they told me like I would never ski again. I would never play soccer again. And I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, and I had to learn to walk again. And it was a humbling thing. I'll never forget the first time. I was never a big guy, but I was always pretty fast. I used to be able to run 4.340s.
Okay.
And so
That's impressive.
back in the day. So my thing was like, I'd run, right? I could usually run away from everybody. And I remember hobbling into the grocery store, and this homeless guy started approaching me. And I was kind of like scared because, it was like, that thing I had was gone.
Yeah, right.
And, I lost so much weight. So I couldn't eat. So the pain meds, because I've never been a medicine guy. Like my parents, everything
Rub dirt
was
in
like,
it, right?
Yeah.
Walk
it
it
was
off.
whiskey, we never took cough syrup. It was always whiskey, lemon, and honey. And, growing up as a kid. And we just never went to a doctor. We just didn't have money to go to the doctor. Was the main reason. But, so I never took medication. I took the medication. Of course, it constipated me. I lost weight. I was probably down to like 128 pounds, and I had like a 25-inch waist, and it just like I just shrunk. And so it was like learning at the age of 40 to come all back, learn how to walk again, and But yeah, that's why I was asking you. Like when people tell me, like, "Oh, you're not going to be able to do that again."
Well, I think when you go through experiences like that, which I know all four of us have, you realize that the power of the mind is your superpower.
Yep.
To use that, and to actually dig deep and be like, no, because a lot of people's energy is in victimhood, and they're like, oh, poor me. But I swear to God, it was happening for me to be the better person, the better mom, the better wife, the better coach, all of that, because
and a lot of people, they'll, when they hear that kind of news, they'll accept it and
that's
be like,
right. Then they're a victim to their injury.
Yep.
And then there has
try
been
hard and push through it.
Part of that news, I think, is a lot of times the doctor, right, giving that news almost kind of does it on purpose because they're afraid of failure, right? But that's part of the game. You need to try to fail, especially in those situations. You need to try to walk again. Like all these guys are just telling, you're not going to walk again. They just believe it because they don't have that attitude to say, no, fuck you. I'm going to walk again. So I think that's another little.
And the medical industry is a business too, first and foremost. So.
Yeah, and it's
to keep them
terrible.
in a cast and on medication.
Well, I gotta say, my doctor was really cool because he pulled me off to the side. He said, on the record, don't ski, don't do this. I got the CTI brace. I was like, you gotta give me the CTI brace before my deductible comes back. And he's like, well, you can't ski until March. And I was like, yeah, but my deductible comes up, and it's like a $2,500 deductible. Can I get the knee brace? Because the knee brace was like $2,800, right? Yeah. And he's like, yeah. He goes. Now I'm gonna talk to you off the record. He's like, if you can do it, do it.
Yeah.
So he was like, and he was really cool. Like he goes, because you almost lost your leg.
Yeah.
He said, if this would have happened 5 years previous, he goes, we wouldn't have had any choice. We would have cut your leg off above the knee. So a lot of times people say to me, like, guys my age, because guys, when we get older, we start to get a belly and, they're like, oh, you're lucky you're thin. I'm like, no, I'm lucky I got 2 fucking legs to walk into the gym every day. That's why I'm lucky.
And I work hard every day by choice.
Yeah.
You move, right?
And so it's getting to that about the gym.
Yeah.
Okay. The name of your gym?
CCF. And we're actually in what would we call that, headway right now to rebrand right now, and we're going to call it 775 Fitness. So for 10 years, it's been Cammi Craig Fitness, which she will still have her home base at 775 Fitness in Reno, Nevada.
Yep. So 775. If you guys don't know, that's the area code for Reno, Northern Nevada, and we actually had a ton of people come in when you guys were in our booth at the Reno Rodeo, and after you guys left, like, oh, we know Cammi. We just saw her in here. She's so great. She's so awesome. And so, so you're, people know you. And so your past experience, how big does that play when you train people?
The most. And that's why another reason why I feel like it's an absolute blessing, that I did have the mindset that I did to get to where I am today, because I do believe that fitness is my vehicle for my purpose in life. It is a huge part of my calling. And I've been gifted a package of love when people don't deserve to be loved sometimes, and
a sprinkle of spice.
Yes. And to be given hope, through just the act of being in motion. There's a chiropractor one time that told me motion is like lotion, use it. And we get in this funk mentally, we get in this funk physically, and we just want to sit back into the darkness, and we got firsthand of this through COVID, as they took everything away from us that was actually to better our health and to better who we are. And it is essential. We finally understand collectively as a nation that motion is in, things that we do and with Team Whiskey and stuff is for our better health. So I do believe that it helped me a lot being a coach, and I'm a better coach for it today because I used to call for perfection in my life, and that hindered me a lot. And so now to get past that struggle has helped me be a better coach today as well.
What I always tell people is start being thankful for what you can do, because then you'll be able to do more.
Yep.
It's like it really is like, because starting back from nothing, and like at 40 I was probably in the best shape of my life actually, and then it was all gone. 2.5 weeks I was on this couch for I was on the couch for 10 weeks, but in the first 2.5 weeks I was like, it took me all this time to get this fitness in 2.5 weeks. It's freaking gone. This isn't fair. Like, what a what a crock, right? And it kind of, makes you start to be grateful for those little things. And, that was really, for me, I was like, man, if I could just walk on the beach again,
Interesting. His father, Steve Knapp, caught COVID, and I'll never forget what he said. He's a very active skier.
Skier. He's the
tennis
one that
player, hiker.
Brought me up hunting.
Yes, he's
fishing.
the man. Just caught 15 fish yesterday.
Yeah, with a fly rod, bass fishing.
He's insane. But I remember him saying, because he was laid up during COVID, and he goes, I've been training my whole life to work through something like this, as bad as COVID was for him. And I can visually see him, not, through imagination, laying on the couch and just being miserable. But had he not been in a state like you and him were, 40 years old at the best shape of your life, 52 years old, it might have hurt him.
Yeah.
And he's obviously, this is where Dan gets it, but I remember him saying, started feeling better, and I'd get up and I'd jump rope 100 times, and then I'd be so famished I'd just lay back down. So motion does.
That was part of his healing process, though.
Yes.
He would get up, jump rope, 100 reps, and then
try to sweat it out a little bit.
Yeah, well, and then also just jump rope specifically, the movement, the up and down, jumping up, landing, getting the organs going, getting circulation better.
Also,
better
you're
circulation.
drawing the lungs, the lungs getting that
you
fluid.
need to move everything, right? You need to have the jolts. You need to jump up and down. Motion is the lotion, right? And once you stop moving is when you start falling apart.
And our buddy, we actually lost a dear friend of ours through COVID, and the situation there, among what we're talking about, is Kathy got COVID, and so did Jeff. She declares that she got up. She was doing chores around the house. She would go in the backyard, take the dog out, but she was an up and down. Jeff succumbed to the sickness, the illness, and passed away.
Yeah.
And he never stood back up, and so I just and I hope to share with anyone that's listening right now. Maybe if you haven't done something in a while, even if it was been 5 years and you're morbidly obese, it's a beautiful day to start today and just walking to your mailbox and back in.
Yeah,
One step at a time.
Never too late.
That's it.
Never too late. If you want to, this is one of my favorite stories. I had a client, a guy just come walking in, right, in his mid-20s, not in the best shape, and I could tell he maybe been in the gym once. And he just walked in. He's like, "Look, man, I just want to be able to party when I'm 70." I was like, "Well, shoot, man, you came to the right freaking place, man." Because really, if you want to be able to move, party when you're 70, hit the dance floor, cut rug, you got to move your body every single day. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey said it. A great book if you guys ever want to look into it. Green Lights.
Green Lights. So good.
But sweat 20 minutes a day. It could be that
some way somehow.
That's simple. Like 20 minutes a day. But then just build from there, and it could be anything.
Yeah,
like literally anything.
And it's hard to make an excuse for just 20 minutes too.
Exactly right. You
totally.
Some people, they do like long, 2+ hour gym sessions, and people that intimidates them.
Yeah,
But
no.
to start
You
them
don't
off with
need
just
it.
like 20 minutes.
You
Yep.
don't need it.
Anybody can do that.
That's right. And actually, this is a story, Ashley, one of our other clients, and this is when we met you guys, ironically. We all were getting the herd together for Team Whiskey up at Homewood. And Ashley goes, "I can't go with you guys." And Denny's sitting right there, her fiance at the time, is like, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "You guys are like rock star athletes. I can't do that." And just like you said, some people set the bar over here, that we all look at that and we're like, too much, But anyhow, I got her by myself, and I was like, "Girl, you train every single day. And it might not, be Dan Knapp's workout, at his intensity, at his level, but we're all so different, all so unique. And I just commend you for moving your body for 60 minutes a day." Lo and behold, she comes out here and she would yell at me, "Hey, Cammi, slow down." And then I'd turn around, I'd wait for her and I'm like, fudge, because I have like the competitive light, that's it, 100 miles an hour. And then I was like, this can be an experience with Ashley too, turn around. So anyways, at the end, she just said, "Thank you." And I was like, didn't that feel good that you actually, attempted it and you didn't have to?
Did she shoot, or did she just come
She
along
shot
the walk?
too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last year we had, when COVID happened, we're like, okay, well, we were just about ready to start making money. So now it's all shut down. And then,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
so because we just invested in, a bunch
Yeah.
of, we started making our own custom gear, So like, our hats are all custom. Our
Yep.
hoodies are the same way. We design them and do everything ourselves. So that's not just like buying them off the rack and getting somebody to screen them for us. And so we had our brand ambassadors come out. And so we had brand ambassadors from all over. So we have all these people come out. And the beauty thing of it is that we put them all together in a house. They didn't know each other.
I remember that.
And they didn't know each other. Well, one guy, he's in the military, and I guess he had some stuff happen in his stomach. I don't know if it was shrapnel or what, but I don't know the whole story, so I don't want to say, but he just had some issues.
Yeah.
And he started walking up that first hill.
Oh gosh.
And he started having troubles. These guys don't even know him. They're like, "Listen, I got your pack, I got your bow." The other guy's like, "Put your arm around my shoulder." They got him up the hill. Another girl, she showed up, and she is ex-military, and she showed up, and she didn't know what she was getting into. And of course, like, they're all doing the whiskey course. I set the whiskey course, and I know you're going to feel that. I don't care what shape you're in.
Yeah,
you're going to feel it
Yep.
to some degree or another.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything to him, and she was kind of like a apprentice. So I was talking to her just on the phone and telling her, she was like, "Oh, I went to look at this place. There's no way I could walk down that hill, and it's too steep."
Yep.
Where she was trying to hunt in her area. And then she went on that course, and then here's these guys that don't even know her, and they just met her, and they're like, and this is what Team Whiskey's all about. And they're like, "No, you're not quitting. You're
right,
coming.
let's go."
We'll wait. Come on, we'll wait.
Yep.
Come on, you'll go."
Carry
And when
your
she
pack.
got back, she came up to me and she's like, "You know what? That hill that I told you about, I couldn't walk down." She's like, "That's nothing." So like, that's
And
the
so-
cool thing about it.
The very cool thing, and that's important. A very important thing about doing hard shit. That's what I call it. Do hard shit.
Yep,
Whatever it is, fucking make it hard and do it. because when you do it, you come out just that little fraction a bit stronger, and it'll make that next hard thing you do just a fraction of a little bit easier, that just, it hardens you, right? Doing hard shit hardens you and makes the next thing a little bit easier and gets you out of the box and gets you to have experiences and memories that you probably never would have had.
Appreciation.
Yep. And there's nothing like mountains, because I've been backpacking ever since I was 15, and I always say, you want to find out what you're made of, put a pack on your back and start hiking up a mountain.
Oh yeah.
And it's more of a mind game.
Yeah,
that's what Dan 100%. Does. He has all of his clients doing lunches with like a dirt bag on the back of their.
It's hunting season now.
We always know it is. He starts shooting his arrow a lot more and
start
doing a lot
putting
more
heavy
with those
stuff
bags
on your
the
back
back.
and start hiking upstairs.
So true.
So when you're at your gym, do you guys, is it all personal training, or do people just join the gym and come in, or is it?
So it's all personal training. It's a private personal training gym. No memberships. You come in, you either work with me, you work with Cam. We work a schedule 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week, 30, 60-minute blocks. And really the sky's the limit in regards to what kind of program we can design. It's really based on the client. We sit down, talk, go through a full, list of questions, assessments, body fat analysis tests, and the whole thing, right? And then based on all of that, we can build you a program.
So it's funny. Okay, so you ask question assessment. So I did whitetail outfitting in Ohio for like 10 years, and I'd always send out a questionnaire because where the farm was, it was in the middle of nowhere. So I had to know what kind of food they wanted to eat and have it all there, because going to a grocery store was 1 hour one way.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to have all that. The other thing I always ask, because like, what's your physical, if you would rate yourself.
Yeah.
And that was always fun to me, because like I would get the form back. Now I don't have a picture of these people.
Oh, that'd be good.
It was fun to me to see the people that say, oh, I'm an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
and then they show up, and then it's like okay, well, I don't know.
Catfished.
Yeah. Our greatest thing, we just love it because we have X-ray vision. We've been doing it for so long, and we played a lot of the psychology game, but we'll get people, I eat perfect. And I'm like, what? What'd you say?
Yeah.
And then you have to peel the layers off too. But
I have a turkey sandwich with mayonnaise and cheese,
and the chips were gluten-free. We're like, well,
and the chips, and I only had a diet soda. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, but we understand your rating of 8, and I love their.
But then there was sometimes that guys would come in and was like, man, I'm not in that great of shape. And I'm like, well, you're actually better than like 80% of the people that come in here.
That's the mindset's so different.
And I had guys in their 30s, like, hey, just let me grab that deer, because like, why? I got it. No, like, you're breathing really hard. I don't want to drag you out too. Like, let me just drag the deer out. That way I don't have to drag 2 bodies out.
And that's interesting. Like, most of our objective with the young bucks and then our 83-year-old couple that we have in the gym is to train for life. Yeah. Like, there's so many times. Last season he was training to go
life,
to.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
An 83-year-old person's life is going to be different. And that's
they're training to fall.
Our job, right?
And get up and walk out of it, opposed to fall, break their hips, and then pass away.
Yeah.
That's what they're training for.
Yeah.
Where you were training for last season for Team USA, against the European League. So it's all in.
And what was that for?
So I got, I guess you can call it brought out of retirement. Old coach of mine reached out, and he got hired to be the offensive coordinator for the European Football League, and it was their version of the All-Star game or the Pro Bowl, and it was their All-Star team versus USA. So he built a team from the U.S. and we flew out to Berlin and had a full on week mini camp, like padded. It was so much fun for a one game on the 3rd of October, which is it's a really big holiday. It's like when they tore down the Berlin Wall out there. Mm-hmm. And so it's like a big holiday. And so that's how USA versus the European All-Star team in Berlin.
So did you guys win?
No.
So I practiced all week and it was all good, but that month before, I was on a hunting trip, archery up here in northern Nevada, and I ended up messing up my calf a little bit. So I wasn't able to sprint or really train the way I needed to. And so I go out there, and it was all awesome up until game day. I warm up, all good. I'm literally walking to the field for kickoff. And I dressed up, ready to go, right? Full red, white, and blue, representing USA. About to walk out on the field in Berlin, Germany. And I frickin' popped my Achilles. My left Achilles. It wasn't a full rupture, but
you felt it.
Oh, dude, it was like someone shot me in the back of the leg with like a Red Ryder BB gun at point blank range. Just like, pop. And just, you can tell when something like that happens of how, like, okay, that was bad. So unfortunately that happened, but that's what that trip is what teed up the amazing experience and couple weeks that my new wife and I had, and that's where I got to propose on this in Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria. For all my guy listeners out there, if any of you guys thinking about proposing, do it at a fucking castle.
Oh, it's dreamy. Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Call Dan Knapp. I'll give you the pointers.
Yeah.
So USA lost.
Yeah, and long story short.
Yeah, and Dan, and every play was ran around
the
him.
The whole offense was designed around. Yeah, there was just.
I was hearing it all week long.
Tight end.
You said you're playing
so,
tight
and
end.
I was going to use this film, and I was, shit you not, I was going to use it, and I was going to send it to the people in the NFL that I'm like, hey, man, I still fucking got it. Put me in, coach.
Well, I'm walking around.
But then I blow my Achilles.
And all the European coaches were there to watch him. Like, word got around quick. Like, it was a good circuit, where we were at. And I was listening. I'm like, and then realizing that Dan actually wasn't coming on the field, I thought it was a joke.
Well, American football is getting big in Germany because we hosted an exchange student from Germany, and when we were over there, they were talking, American football is more popular. The games are being watched over there.
It's becoming a thing.
And they actually have a bunch of teams over there.
They have a bunch of teams, and I know a bunch of guys that play.
8 teams this year.
Yeah. All over Europe, man. It's just so much fun.
We made lots of great friends.
Yeah, we made a ton of friends, and so it's an annual thing. They're going to do this every year now, and I'm going back next year.
Oh, nice.
So they invited me back.
And he's just now able to sprint and do the things.
I'm just now that was in October.
So the recovery on that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
No surgery.
No surgery.
Thank God.
No surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So still a 6 to 7 month rehab.
Yeah, that's Achilles.
Achilles is no good.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
That's something that most people don't come back from.
Yeah, I know, and that's the reason why they don't come back from it, because they blow it and they'll sit on the fucking couch for the next 6 months. You gotta do the rehab. You gotta hurt it. You gotta tear it apart a little bit to rebuild it bigger, faster, stronger. And that's the whole point about exercising, right? You go in there and your body's a professional at adapting. So you throw a bunch of stuff at it, especially random stuff, and that's how we train. We're consistently inconsistent.
We play the effectiveness versus efficiency game all the time. So we really don't plateau, but we're not putting ourselves in absolute pain. No pain, no gain doesn't really have to exist.
Right. Just keeping a variety, mixing it up, muscle
Exactly.
confusion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like my girl today at the gym, she's like, Dan sucks. And I'm like, wait, why? I was gone on Friday and he covered for me. And he was like, I don't know. Was he trying to kill me? And I'm like, no, he's just.
Was that Karen?
It was Stacy.
Oh.
He trains differently, and so that became really, really, really effective for you because you were, obviously this tells me we were getting a little efficient. Yeah. And too efficient. Yeah. And she kind of perked like the dog head tilt and like, okay, I got it.
So that's our style. If you were to call our style of give us a style of training. It's not CrossFit. It's not Olympic lifts. It's not this. It's not that. It's functional. I would say it's called functional training. Stuff that translates, and it's also different per client.
Yeah, because they have coming in for a different reason.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And so we build a program to you. And shoot, like I said, I grew up in a gym. My dad owned a gym from I was born. So I grew up in a gym, and then high school, then football, and then been a part of all those programs. And so my style of training is an eclectic version of all of that. So I hate doing the same workouts twice. Just that's me personally. So I forced myself to just come up with
Be
new
innovative and
ways,
creative.
new exercises. Nothing crazy and weird that you see on YouTube.
Nothing like those
days.
TikTok videos of
nothing
those
like
guys.
No, bro.
Yeah, this is all within reason, perfect form, and functional.
I got to call myself out, though. I lost a lot of clients my first, I would say, 6 years of training, maybe 5, because I thought everyone had my mentality.
Yeah.
So I think I ran them out the
You
door.
pushed them a little too hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
no.
possibility.
Yeah.
Well, for me, as getting older, a couple years away from 60, that
You look great, by the way.
thank you, but balance is really the key for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So I go to the gym a couple hours every day, but a third of the time spent doing cardio, a third of it's doing stretching and core, and then a third of it's doing
Yeah, exactly.
resistance.
I
That's
love
what
that.
you need. You need the
And are
stretching.
you saying that you play the bilateral to unilateral training,
Yeah.
which helps you, and especially like hiking and everything that you do?
Well, and flexibility.
Yeah.
Huge.
I mean, you know what? They
Huge.
never. I used to run soccer. We used to play practice 4 hours. We'd stretch for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which was
And it-
that was so when I was playing in the league, it was a contractual agreement. Like, so as an offensive line unit, we had to go as a unit to yoga classes.
Yeah.
Bunch of
It wasn't an
320
option.
pound elephants, right? Going to a little yoga studio. These little girls are like, man, just hang tight, man. Don't break anybody.
So
Don't
funny.
fall on it. Don't crush
Yeah.
anybody.
How much did you sweat though?
Oh man,
Those little
Pounds.
intrinsic muscles that
Pounds.
you use during yoga.
Yeah.
And they support the major muscles.
Yeah.
But if we
Yeah.
don't do that, he's a
It
huge
was
advocate.
All
at
injury
our gym.
prevention is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also really
Like-
big on hot and cold therapy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, huge
As well?
too. Like ice baths, that stuff. is
Infrared saunas, dry
okay,
saunas.
Tremendous health benefits.
Yeah.
Especially the contrast going hot cold, but even going cold, even in the winters, whatever you're driving down. When we leave here,
He's jumping into
the
Tahoe.
first thing I said, I'm like, oh, there's Lake Tahoe. If we have enough time on the way back, I'm jumping in there.
You guys, we do so much traveling. Anywhere we go, if there's a body of water,
I'm jumping.
he's
in it.
jumping in, and he
It'll
has
be
the kids
snowing.
jumping in there too.
It'll
It's
be
funny.
snowing. I don't give up.
No.
I'm going in.
Yeah.
Doing hard shit. That's why I fucking do it, because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I went down and helped a friend of mine train his 10-year-old son's soccer team. And so, he was doing all these drills of, skill and stuff like that. And then I was doing drills of like one-on-one and, putting them in situations that
50-50.
were way harder
Mm-hmm.
than they're going to see in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, now I can see, like, because I kept telling him, I was
that's
like,
rad.
like you do these things like this.
Resistance training, right?
And then,
providing
the other
resistance.
thing of it is that, they're little kids. They're 10 years old. So push them.
Yeah.
But if you're just out there having them just kick the ball and work on skills, they're not really developing that
Grit.
mental ability to say,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to run hard at this guy.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm not going to
We
let
need
him
to keep that
turn,
teaching up. Yeah.
And so, I think that's a big part of it is
Huge.
like always challenging
Yes.
yourself and living here in Tahoe, like you want to challenge, walk out the door.
You're outside.
Yeah, walk out the door
Walk
and
Walk out
start
your
going up.
backyard. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
whatever
want to
it
go
is.
up
Yeah.
on a bike, go
Yeah.
up on, so it's like I think that's a big thing that people, what they say is like, most people quit long before they have to quit.
Yeah, exactly. What?
I'll tell you, even, in my sprinting days, I was 100, 200, 400. And I had, at the time, I'm like, this coach is insane, absolutely insane. And I just did track to complement my other sports, and my mind needed it as well. But he would put weight vests on us, and it would be torture to run 100 meters, with that. And then after the 100 meter, he'd say, run up to the G and then come back. And then he would take the pack off, and no joke, he would be like, you're a second faster, but without having that contrast, I don't know that I would have seen that ever, because I had to work extra hard. So I see you do it all the time. I don't praise it enough, but it's amazing watching people, or like holding weights. People are like, oh my God, well, you got a Sharon Rand and she's lost 30 pounds, and then she'll hold the 25-pound plate And every time she does that, she has this kind of bond with self again, like, wow, I lost this much weight and I never want to have it on me again.
Yeah.
So
No, go back to your weight loss. So when you're out of the NFL and now you're like, okay, like I really don't need to be 320 pounds anymore.
No.
How hard was it to run and do cardio and stuff like that?
Well, so interestingly enough, when I finished playing offensive line, I wasn't done playing, right? So my goal at that point then was to get back in shape, get to 260, 265, and try to get back in the NFL as a tight end, because I felt a little gypped, because I was forced to move. I'm a tight end. I started the first 3 years, redshirt freshman, sophomore, junior year as a tight end. If I would have played another year, hands down, I would have got an opportunity to play in the NFL. So I'm like, I still have time. I'm in better shape than I was. So I trained. I took a year, and I just did that. I 5 days of 6 days a week. So I went from 310 all the way back down to 265. And all I really did was nothing crazy. I just changed my diet. I just cleaned up a little bit diet-wise. And I didn't really clean it up until I started training with so I came into your gym. That was 5 years ago. But then just transitioned that into the training how I would normally train for the NFL Combine. But I did that for a year. And I got all the way back down to 265. I ran a 4.48 at 265 on film. I did all this stuff on film, right? Put that together on a CD or a disc, whatever, and use that as my resume to get back in the NFL. And it freaking worked, right? I sent it to Denver, and I had a buddy there, roommate, Brock Osweiler, was my roommate in college at Arizona State, and then gave it to him, and he gave it to the player recruiter, whatever guy. And he's like, all right, cool, it's awesome. You definitely got what it takes. We're going to bring you in off-season. And that off-season hit, didn't get any phone calls, called him back up. Hey, man, what's the deal? The guy that was going to bring me in got cancer, and he had to leave and bring in another guy, and then he brought in his guys. So, again, I ran into that freaking meat factory deal, right? We're just naming a number, right?
And I think, isn't that the way it is?
That's
sports all the way through. There's always some kind of favoritism for whatever reason, whether it's, your parents put money in the booster, or
even at the
this
professional
guy
level.
likes you or
even
doesn't
at the professional
like you.
level. Yep, exactly. And so just like that, and I put a year of time, effort, energy, everything, right? And I said no. For shits and gigs, I went down and tried out for a professional rugby team in Queensland, Australia, and they put I don't know anything about rugby, right? I just showed up and I just crushed people, and I ran fucking fast, and they're like, "Hey, here's the contract, buddy. We can teach you to play rugby, okay?"
You run over people.
He's like, I'm huge.
So, and I said no, because I thought I had an opportunity with Denver Broncos, and which never happened, which is, if I had any regret ever, that would be the only, and I didn't know, so I try not to beat myself up too much about that one, but I kind of wish I went to Queensland, Australia to play rugby.
But they say the universe is as it should be, so don't struggle against this moment and struggle against the whole universe. So
right, and so at the end of the day, I don't beat myself.
And how old were you when that happened?
That was 24. 24.
And then when did you come back to Reno to live?
So I was in Reno then. So
I think you're 25.
25. Yeah.
And then at 26 you were at CCF.
And
then when did you meet Cammi?
26.
Okay. Well,
I met her way back, but I walked in the gym 26, and then that kicked off a whole other echelon of stuff. We ended up training for the Olympic bobsled team. Went all the way to Park City, Utah. Did that. And again, that's another situation where if I would have made it, right, running the 40, popped my hamstring, and then had to hang that up. But again, this close. So, and that's the thing, right? Like I've
always wanted to do that bobsled. How cool is that?
It is freaking awesome. Yeah.
Because
and
we
went
love
out there.
speed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was going to be perfect, man. I was going to be the push. They call it the push athlete. It's the hoss in the back, bop, jump in there and just head down, close your eyes, and like, here we fucking go. Yeah. I'm just the guy that pushes the sled as fast as fucking possible. I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah, it was really fun.
And that, so what year was that? What you were doing for the
So that was
Olympics?
3 years ago, 2019.
19.
2019.
Yeah.
But when he walked into the gym and he said, do you have a job or is there an opening? I'm like, are you an angel? And I had just signed for our second location. And truly by the grace of God, I just knew that it was going to work out, but I didn't know how. And he walked in, and I never opened that gym one time. We both get up at 4 a.m. every day and be at the gym at 5 and stuff. And so he really was the dude. And that, like you were talking about the universe and placement and stuff, I mean, it was divine. Even looking back, it was supposed to happen. Otherwise, I don't know who would have manned that spot.
Yeah, it
So
was
he
good timing.
ran the downtown gym. And then through COVID, we ended up losing it.
Yeah.
And now we just have our large location, which we're very happy to have survived
And
COVID.
what part of Reno is that in?
I would say like kind of south,
It's
right?
behind it's close to the
Airport.
Reno airport.
Oh, okay.
That's by the airport.
So is it like
Marijuana.
on the other side, like on the east side of the
Yes.
airport?
Yes.
That's a nice
Exactly.
area
It's
over
on
there.
the
We
side
love
of the
it.
airport.
That's
Yeah.
a nice area over there. I was looking at
They got-
properties over there.
Yeah, it's good. And then we're members
Yeah.
at a golf club, Hidden Valley,
Yeah.
which
Right
is close
there.
by, so we enjoy it.
So you guys golf too?
I do.
Oh,
I try. I try to golf.
Oh, he's
Well,
amazing.
If you can't laugh at yourself, golf is
Oh,
not
yeah.
the sport for you.
Yeah. I laugh at myself quite often, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have a real short-term memory playing golf.
Yeah. So I played a lot of golf when I was a kid, and then I was like age of 12 to 14.
Uh-huh.
Then 15 girls.
I know.
And that was like
priorities, right?
golf clubs got put up. It's like summertime came around. I was
Yeah,
like,
back at 14.
why would I be on a golf course?
Yeah, girls were hanging out with the golfers.
But
No.
then, I started training some people in Glenbrook, and one guy in particular who was Alzheimer's. So I would train him, and I'd take him out on the golf course. And
it's just being outside too, you know.
and it does have that brain thing, where like you got to look at the yardage and your lie. And I tell you, working with him was really, really good because it made me a better golfer. Because like I'd look at his lies, like, we need to go club heavier, just because it's not a great lie. And he was a really good golfer, but I had to really keep my eye on him because like literally like I'd turn around just to look, see what's going on the golf course, and he'd be lining up, like blasting into somebody's house. Well, it was funny because, I started playing with him. I started getting better. He was a good golfer.
Yeah.
And,
That's cool.
we'd walk up to the green and, my ball would be close. He'd just go up and putt it. I would never say anything,
Nice putt.
Yeah.
Nice putt. Good job.
But then, like, I started getting better, and it was like funny because, like, he knew like that ego thing, and
Oh, yeah.
he's like, I'm just not playing that well. And I'm like, no, Ed, you're actually playing really well. It's just I'm starting to play better. And he goes, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It's like
I've been playing.
Harry is
yeah.
78 years old, but that competitiveness was
Still got it, man.
it's still-
That never dies.
No,
No.
never dies off.
hopefully not. Right?
Exactly. I was just about to say that. It better not.
Yeah, so that's
It
kind of
better
like
not.
a kind of thing. But
Shoot, my dad, it hasn't.
No.
and you mentioned the older people, training the older people. What a joy that is, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a blessing, right?
Beyond. And you kind of brought me back by saying that you helped that guy. My career, I look back and I've been practicing my whole life for what I'm doing today. And that's the beauty in following your heart and being passionate. So there was this girl named Lauren, and she was 100% blind in college. And I was the girl that worked. I not only was the athlete, but I worked at the gym and whatever. And this mom randomly came up to me. She's like, hey, can you train my daughter? And I was like, yeah. Lo and behold, she ended up being 100% blind, and that was my first client. Looking back, was there any exchange in monies? No. Schedules kind of whenever she could, but I look back and I'm like, that was my first client, and the way that, or the opportunity that I got with her was unlike any other, and I felt like prepared actually when I did step foot because of Lauren. And I'll never forget, she goes, I said, what are you training for? And she goes, for my boyfriend. And I was like, okay. And we started talking. He's 100% blind too. And she goes, I know this sounds weird to you, but we have to base everything off of feeling, and I want him to feel a hard body. And I was like,
That's
that is
awesome.
the cutest thing ever. But then you get someone like Lauren, you know, to someone like Jeannie and John, which is 83, and they're just the cutest humans ever. And they just kind of shuffle in, you know, and make their footprints and exactly where what feels
Yeah,
good
but
for them.
they're one of the most consistent
Yep.
freaking people there, which is cool.
Yeah, and
We
it's
see a
a
lot of-
joy.
And
see
it
a lot
is
of-
it is consistency and persistency. There's
Consistency
really
wins the
and
race,
persistency, and you
Yeah.
have to be persistent and consistent in what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Otherwise, it's not gonna. You
Yeah.
can do an 18-week program, right? In the
And fall off. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned about like what are you training for? So when I go back to Cincinnati, we belong to Anytime Fitness. There's this Anytime Fitness I would go into. I'd see the same trainers in there every morning, you know, and like, you know, when you go into an Anytime Fitness, they're kind of small, and everybody's like, oh, who's this guy, right? Like, you know, you walk
Yeah.
in, and then finally,
I love
these,
going to
these,
those. Like
and
out of
this-
town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I've
it-
been out of
Popping
town.
in there.
yeah.
This is my house now, guys.
Yeah. Well, it's
Like, oh,
funny
shit.
because like the trainers are like, they're like, hey, what are you training for? I'm like, life.
Yeah.
Life.
Training for life.
Yep.
Because really, the biggest thing that you can do, the biggest investment you can do
Your body.
is your body and your mind.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And what's the best thing you can do for the people that you love? Be
Yes.
strong and
Yep.
be healthy emotionally and physically. So
Yep.
there's really
Useful.
nothing more
Being
than
useful.
that. But it was like so funny because they're like, you know, in their mind, they're like seeing me in there every morning thinking I'm training for something. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, you're training.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just, it's life. Like,
Yeah. Well, and then I think that's when you can see you can measure your growth in the things that you're passionate about. So we'll get clients that are avid skiers, you know, and they'll go up and last season felt this way. And then they start training. This is their first year of actually functional training. And then they'll come up to us like, you're never going to believe this. What? I didn't take one break while I skied today. I didn't take like a 2-hour break, whatever it was. And we're like, doesn't that feel awesome? So now you have more joy in doing life.
Yeah, doing
know?
the things you love to do for
Yeah.
Yeah,
longer.
it just makes life easier.
It totally does.
All of it. All
Yeah.
of life. I mean, really, I've had a client, she had a speech impediment. Like, she was very shy, reserved, kind of want to, you know, didn't want to reach out or talk to anybody really at all ever. And because I knew her, she was my sister's friend for years and years. And then she became a client because she was heavier set and finally wanted to make a change and did one of these programs. And she had a stutter, very consistent since for years, as long as I've known her. And then she did this program for like 12 weeks in. It was an 18-week program, and yeah, about halfway in, out of nowhere, her stutter disappeared. Gone.
Gone.
Hasn't come back.
And
And
a
it was
lot
a
of-
mental thing, right? She trained. She got to this point. She started wearing these
confidence.
Wonder Woman shirts, right? You know, walking the walk, and you know, like, fuck, you go, girl, right? And then
And there's a difference between confidence and cockiness.
Come on.
yes, yeah.
You know,
Yep,
I mean,
and
it's
it
like,
was-
you know, that's the big thing. Is
Yes.
like, I think once you do those things and you train your body, the mind comes along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
the first thing that we notice is, you know, 2 weeks in of being consistent, it's the glow in their eyes. It's not their waist. It's not, you know, the big booty and ripped shoulders. It's literally in the eyes. And then through the eyes, then it starts to shine from ear to ear through the smile.
Yeah.
You know, and then we start to see their teeth, and then we start to get to talk, and then they feel a part of something. So we truly believe that the single most important thing in life is connection and relationships.
People make this world go round.
That's right. So when we go to Team Whiskey, we've only known of you guys for so long, but that's the connecting points that we thrive.
Well, you can see
on.
when you come to our shoot, it's like a family reunion.
That 100%.
You know, it's like the people out there, everybody out there is like out there to have a good time. That's what we say. If you can't make that long shot, get closer to the target.
Yeah.
This isn't like a contest. This
Yeah.
is like all about a gathering.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you challenge yourself within yourself. And, you know, that's what playing team sports my whole life. I played competitive baseball, basketball, soccer. You know, that competitiveness is great, but I love the mountain things like skiing and riding a bike, and
Yeah.
because it's your challenge within yourself in the mountain. It's
Yeah.
not because like he's an incredible skier. I ski with him all the time, and like there's no way I can compete with him. But
But you're gonna be out there and do your thing.
I'm out there with him.
Yes.
You know, he's going off the rocks, and I'm
Yeah.
going around the rocks.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like it's your own experience of challenging yourself.
Didn't we have a guy when we shot with them that he ended up following us and being in our pack? And
You guys picked up a
Remember that?
solo.
Yeah, solo.
yeah, and I'll never forget that and how thankful he was that we allowed him in. Which number one, there's no question about that, you know. But I guess in other places in life, you're not accepted, you know. And so just to accept that guy into our little group,
Yeah, and then but you guys are good looking, fit couple, and you know, and sometimes you know, you guys don't really kind of probably see yourselves that way. You're just like people, right? Just
Right.
trying like all the rest of us humans to make our way through this world, and but then people see you on the outside and they're like, you know, wow, you know, you're really fit, and you're like, really? Like, you know, I mean,
guy's
like,
gonna eat my
come on,
lunch.
you know,
yes. Wait, are you sure?
yeah.
No, you're right, and yeah, maybe that's a good way to put it because. Yeah, we don't see it like that, you know.
Yeah, I'm
and
not
then,
gonna eat your lunch, dude.
No.
I promise.
no, and then at the end,
No, you couldn't.
we were all hugging each other and loving on each other and thanking for the whole experience. And it wouldn't have been the same without him, you know. And he wasn't running up the mountain by any means.
Well, I remember when you came up with Dom and was that Greg?
Yeah,
very
yeah.
very
And
first
Greg.
year, very
Yeah.
first year.
Yeah.
So you know, when we sold this to Homewood about doing this, you know, the people up here, they have an idea of hunters, and it's you know, fat guys drinking beer, shooting stuff out of the truck window, right? Right? You know, and so like the girl that we were working with that was working there, you know, she didn't really know. And then when you guys walked up, I looked over at her and I was like, okay, she's a little smitten. Like, you know, like she's like, okay, now we're changing their mind. And we have completely changed all of North Tahoe's idea of what our community is.
Wow.
Oh,
And,
awesome.
you know, because, you know, Team Whiskey, a lot of people hear Team Whiskey and they're looking at it like, oh, it's a bunch of guys, you know,
Yeah.
drinking whiskey and killing stuff. Well, yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not all of it. Dig
Yeah.
deeper, read the story about us, how we got started, what we do, how we donate, and stuff
Yep.
like that, and then
Yeah.
the whole community of it. And but you know, we've kind of changed their idea. Now they love us up there.
I love it.
Awesome.
You know, they see us coming
they
in.
should.
Yeah.
We're bringing people in, and they've never really seen this side of hunting.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know.
No.
No, they don't know because they've gotten out of it. And you know, when we started the mentor apprentice program, you know, we get a lot of people from California just because you know, they didn't grow up with it. I grew up with it my whole life, and you guys grew up with it, so it's second nature. Like, oh wow, I don't need anybody to mentor me. My dad did it. You know.
Yeah, I know. And that's how you become hunters. Really, is you either kind of grow up into it. And that's cool about, you know, these days. I think that guy that joined our group, he was just from L.A., I think,
Yeah, I think somewhere in
Southern
California.
California city that just decided one day to pick up a hobby and decided to be archery, you know, and drove all the way up to Homewood to, you know,
Yeah.
have that experience with everybody. And, you know, like of all things to do, right? Come
Yeah.
on. That one is awesome. Let's go out, hike, work on a skill, right? It's not something that's just tedious and not going to serve anything. It could serve you one day. This is
And it's a lot different than just going to your local archery range and shooting your bow because like your
exactly.
heart rate's up, you're
all
shaking,
real,
you know, you're not having that perfect form.
We always
every
put the
time.
try to put the animals in, like, you know,
Yeah, in
Justin's
between
really good
trees.
at it. And,
Yeah,
in
like
between the trees.
up, down. I
You
know.
never see an animal out in the open. I've been
Never.
hunting, you know,
Never.
for 42 years, and you don't see an animal just sitting out in the open. It never happens.
No, it doesn't.
You know,
Maybe at night.
maybe at night with a spotlight.
Yeah, night. Yeah. There you go. Hey, look, that's cool. Shit.
You know, but
It's not going to be there tomorrow. Watch.
Yeah.
No.
go
you know,
find
but
it.
and then watching this grow, you know, the first year we raised $3,000 for the Give Hope Foundation. Last year we raised $11,552 for the Give Hope Foundation.
Wow.
This year we're giving away 5 bows. So, like,
Sweet.
in Wilderness Archery, shout out to them. They came up big for us this year. They're donating what is it, 4 or 5 bows for each shoot. Now the cool thing about that is that like you could win that package,
Yeah.
and you don't just get the bow that's there.
Oh, you go get your specialized bow for you.
They'll
'Cause
fit
I
you.
could be
They'll fit you.
left-handed or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
so
they'll
cool.
fit you for your bow. So like, you know, if that one works for you, take it.
Yep. Or even if you're like from another part of the country in Southern California, you can call them and say, "Hey, I need this draw length. I need this and this."
that's
and they'll
so
spec
rad.
for you
Yeah.
and send it to
Dang, that
you.
is cool.
Well, and that's the cool thing about Team Whiskey as well, is that you started from the bottom. It was an idea, you know, and now here it is becoming something probably way bigger than you even thought, and that's through also the network of connections. Like we looked at your pamphlet today and saw the whole back pamphlet of these sponsors that weren't there the first year.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and so that says a lot about you guys too, wanting to be a part of the community and vice versa, connecting with those good people.
And you know, it started there in Renown when Justin went and got a walker for Mary, and
Yeah.
they told us to get her up and walk her. It's kind of emotional for me, but
Yeah.
we just noticed at that time, you know, it just Team Whiskey, it just bonded everybody on the oncology floor. People were like, "Hey, Team Whiskey." We were wearing shirts, and it started the fall before from, you know, drinking a bunch of whiskey night before a hunt. And, you know, we had a good relationship with the doctor because he was a soccer player, and he just pulled us off the side. He's like, "I don't care how you guys do it. You got to get her a walker. Otherwise, she's not going to make it out of here." So we're like, "Give us a walker." They're like, "We can't give you a walker. Only physical therapy can walk her." Well, she had such stuff going on that, you know, every time physical therapists show up, they'd look in, she's with doctors, nurses, they'd bounce. So Justin went and found a walker. We're like, "We're going to get Team Whiskey's going to get you up and walk you." Well, it kind of made her laugh, and, you know, it was hard, and it was a lot of pain, and it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
But, you know, that last day, she walked 30 laps around the oncology floor.
30?
Yep.
Yeah. So then they're like, "Okay, well, you know, we're going to go get a wheelchair and bring you out." And she's like, "You know, I don't want to wait for the
The
wheelchair."
nurses left.
So we bounced.
When the nurses
walked
left
out.
the room, we
Oh my
walked out.
gosh, what a
That's
story.
Walking on our own terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what, you know, and whiskey is different than beer and wine.
Yeah.
You know, beer and wine separate socioeconomic classes. Whiskey.
Some people drink wine, some people drink beer, but
Never thought
Well,
about it.
but then you
Yeah.
have wine, and then you have cheap wine, and you have this really, "Oh, well, I only drink, you know, this high class wine."
Yeah.
But, you know, whiskey just brings everybody together because it, you know, it doesn't really matter the whiskey. It, you know,
Yeah.
it's like it brings them,
Whiskey's
it
whiskey.
brings them together. So, you know, that was
I'll
kind of
drink
like,
to that.
so that, you know, it's like how, you know, it kind of all started, but, you know, it's like now it's like you can see it just like, it's now
Bond.
become a force of nature, you know, people understand it and they see it. And now we've given in like 9-10 different states now.
yeah, at least.
Awesome.
So
That's
wherever we
amazing.
go, we find a group that's, you know, that, and we only give the groups that give people money.
Yeah.
So now the cool thing about this Bear Valley shoot is we have this group. What's her?
Giving Hope Cancer Kits.
Okay, and she's out of Calaveras County, and she started this because she's still going through treatment
Herself.
herself.
Yep.
And so she doesn't have any money, but what she does is that she found that there's things that she needed when she first started treatment.
Comfort things like blankets and little, you know, whatever it may be.
Gift cards and
Yeah.
for gas or
Booties
whatever.
or, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Essentials.
she started doing that
Essential
on her
stuff.
own, and she just started a nonprofit. And so we found her by the
Yep.
grace of God.
Yep. How it
And
happens.
so, like, she's so stoked, and she's still going through treatment.
And that's so cool too, because here she is in treatment and wanting to give the knowledge to other people, you know, on what they need or what they might want, you know.
yeah, she
and
told
push-
me she had people contact her from Africa to give her to give
Gift
them
baskets with-
gift
Yeah.
baskets
Exactly.
and stuff.
That's
so,
cool.
It's like it's like this whole thing. It's like that's what we always say when people always like, oh, drinking whiskey and hunting. Okay.
So much deeper than that.
Yeah,
you know?
you got to look past that.
Yeah.
That's the common thread.
But that's a part of it.
A thread.
That's a part of it.
There's definitely brotherhood in drinking whiskey. Like my brother has a gym, and it's called Cammi, and one of their biggest selling, what do you call those, brush guards?
Geese.
Yeah, the geese, is whiskey locks. And both of the owners, my brother and Jerry, are always like, there's something about dudes who drink whiskey. I want to hang around them.
Well, and then the other thing is, now that I've gotten older, I can't digest wine and beer like I used to. Like I used to be this guy that like
Modelo's, Heineken, light beers now for me too.
Yeah,
and
there's definitely.
But like I can have like a couple fingers of whiskey, no problem at all.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
the
Instead
beer
of feeling
and the
like
wine,
you ate a loaf of bread after.
Yeah, I know.
Totally.
It's not about
Yep.
it anymore.
Yeah.
yeah, and,
The wheat gut.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I was younger, I could eat whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and then you'll find out as you start to get older, you can digest less and less and less. And then you have to eat more enzymatic food as you get older, because you can't eat that non-enzymatic food because it just sits.
Yeah, and this is a whole other podcast. Getting into food and diet, and what you should and should not be eating, because it's an ever-changing kind of thing, and it's also predicated on the individual too. It's not a one fix-it meal plan thing.
And I think
humanity.
everybody eat. There's blood type diets and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's
That's a huge part of our business.
Shopping the walls, not the halls.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We can just
Yep.
stay on the outside of the grocery
take
store.
one thing
That's
out of
right.
this podcast, diet-wise. Yeah, eat
Yep.
real food.
So you guys gonna be coming to the shoot this year?
Yeah,
You guys gonna be able to make it?
Absolutely.
Hey, if you guys ever don't have any ideas for some of your clients for workouts, tell them to come up
You
and
got
carry
about a
animals up
9-foot
the hill.
Sasquatch outside.
I know. We need to
Some
get all
haulers.
of these things onto the mountain. So you have your hands.
Yeah, we can recruit some.
We can strap packs to their back. We can fit the pack to their back.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Okay.
matter the size of them.
Yeah, and just blame it on Dan. Well, Dan said that you guys were going to want him to do
You
this.
can blame it
Yeah,
all
it's
on
part
me.
of your training.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. This is workout.
Yep.
You're paying me to do
Yep.
this.
It's funny. Well, he's very much so into golf and archery, and these guys will start training with them, and then all of a sudden, those guys are going to his golf coach, and then they're going over,
they're all buying
to
bows.
solo hunter and buying
Yeah.
their bows, and
Yeah.
now
Okay, so you golf a lot.
Yeah, I try to.
So what do you shoot usually?
I'm in the mid to high 80s.
Okay, so you're.
I just started getting lessons about a month and a half ago, and it went from like high 90s to mid to high 80s in that
amount
time
of
frame.
time. Yeah.
So
But he's very
I'm getting
coachable.
like hooked on it right now. I'm getting better. Once you see progress,
Well, it's,
Yeah,
you
make sure
start
play
hitting.
more.
You start hitting some bullseyes on. You're like, okay, I fucking
Yeah.
love this.
It's funny because my wife, she would say to me, she's like, I got these women, and they tell me that their husband's addicted to golf, and like, they're buying houses, and their husband's like, if you want to buy it, I got around shit, And she's like, what is it about golf? She's like, you're not that way about golf because I do so many different things. So
Yeah.
I said, because it's like yoga. There's no perfect pose. There's no perfect round. Those guys that
and
came
there's
off shooting a
always
58.
something to work on.
They're like, damn, I left a couple strokes out
Yeah,
there.
every time.
They're like,
Yep.
they're in there drinking
Yep.
their whiskey in the clubhouse, saying, you know what, I could have had a 55.
I just would have made that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time.
So it's like, but then with that being said, you shoot 120. You got that one shot. They're like, damn.
Did you see that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like Tiger Woods.
It
So
would be.
and that's the thing about golf is
Yeah.
like there is no perfection. And
No, and you're outside with the boys hanging. It's just.
And it's like that's why I sometimes like to watch golf on TV.
I love watching
just
golf.
to
I used to hate
see,
it.
just to see those guys that do it every day, and there they are. They're standing in waist deep grass.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Hacking away at
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
just like everybody else.
Yeah.
know?
That is the funny part.
Yeah, so it's like they do it. So but golf is one of those sports, and we always include that with Team Whiskey. That's why we're outdoor sports and whiskey enthusiasts because golf is one of them, and it's something that you can do later in life.
And that's my big thing, right? I want to compete. I'm a competitor. I want to. What are there's as you get older, there's less things you can compete in. Yeah. The things that I want to compete in, and I think golf is one of them.
Well, I think you picked about two major things. Tour?
Yeah, dude, there's a chance.
Yeah.
I think the oldest guy was 60-something on the PGA Tour this last.
Oh, yeah. We've already joked about it.
Masters. So I'll be lying if I'm telling you right now that there isn't a little thing in the back of my head. It's like, I can fucking do that.
Okay, well, just remember this podcast.
Until it's all one thing when you're out there with your buddies, but then
I know.
Everything when there's the fans,
the guys.
It's like the first tee box.
Yeah,
the first tee box
where the course marshal's watching you, and everybody in the clubhouse is watching you.
We went golfing with one of Justin's buddies. This is a funny story. So one of Justin's buddies we went golfing with. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, or something like that,
pre-COVID.
Yeah, and so we're out there on the first tee box, and everybody's watching, right? And so he gets up there.
Of course.
Please swing and miss, right? So that's one. You're kind of being quiet. Swing again and a miss again. And so Justin's like, okay, you're lying too.
Where's the whiskey? Where's the whiskey?
Justin's like, you're lying too. He swung. How many times did he miss?
I think 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
The course marshal drove off.
Finally, the course marshal drove.
He's like, I can't watch
no,
this.
I'm not watching this.
And then, with that being said, there's other times where you make that one good shot.
Yeah, I dunked one from 50. This was last week, 53 yards straight in the cup.
Hit the pin and dropped in.
So I will also preface this: it was on a par 3, so there's no way I should be 53 yards out of par 3 in the first place. But hey, that second shot it's still a birdie, right? A birdie's a birdie on a scorecard.
Have you ever had a hole in one?
Never.
I had one.
Never.
One.
That's awesome.
It was at the Glenbrook course when I was training that old guy, and
that's awesome. One of these days,
I hit it, and the wind was. I was like, okay, the wind's coming from left to right, pins on the right. I'm just hitting it towards the center green. I just watched the wind hit it, and then it went in the cup, and that old guy's like, "Son of a bitch."
Drinks are on you.
Yeah.
But it was funny because whenever I trained him, all these guys wanted me to train him because, I was just doing just simple range of motion things and just simple things. Yeah. I mean, a lot of balance stuff. Alzheimer's. I would do a lot of things to combine both sides of the brain, both sides of the body moving at the same time. So a lot of the skaters and balance stuff, Dynadisc, Bosu, that kind of stuff, and then that gets both sides of the brain working, and I got him to the point to where he could balance on a Bosu for over a minute.
I love that.
At 83 years old.
That's so awesome.
So if you work on it, it'll improve, man. Yeah, that's just the way it is.
And but that was funny because every time the golf pro would be coming by, he'd have this incredible shot, or I'd have this incredible shot, and they think we're out there tearing it up. But that was far.
These guys know what they're doing, huh?
Yeah. That was fun.
Well, hey guys, I'm glad you guys came out. I know you guys probably have to start making your way back to
we got
train some more clients. But you guys want to plug your social media so people can give you a follow, maybe gym website, all that stuff?
Yeah, our gym website is ccfreno.com. We're on Facebook. Cammi, Craig. I just need to change it, babe. I will.
Yeah.
Whoa. And then
only 2 weeks in, guys.
Yeah. IG is Cammi Knapp, Knapp. And and I also have my own podcast as well, and it's geared more towards health and wellness for sure, but it's called Project You with Cammi Craig. So
awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and get you this podcast so that we can cross share it on both platforms.
Yeah, that'd be rad. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Whiskey Chronicles podcast. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, thanks guys for coming out.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure.